So Michael Popok, Legal AF. The convention center in Milwaukee may not be big enough to hold all of the Trump co-conspirators, witnesses, grand jury, regular jury witnesses, party officials who helped Donald Trump cling to power and stop the peaceful transfer of power. And that's the problem, because Donald Trump, whether he likes it or not, and whether his party will accept it or not, is a criminal defendant in many criminal justice systems. He's a felon as adjudicated in New York by a jury. He is in the criminal justice system in the D.C. election interference case, in the Mar-a-Lago case before Judge Cannon, and in the Georgia election interference case before Judge McAfee. Each one of those indictments led to an arraignment and a release on a set of conditions. All of the conditions require that Donald Trump limit or have no contact with his co-defendants. In Georgia, he's got 14 left that are co-defendants, or make statements or have interaction with people that he knows or should know that they're witnesses, unless in some circumstances his lawyer is present. So unless he's going to chain himself, that's a good image, chain himself to one of his lawyers in the criminal case and have them walk around the convention with him as he bumps into one co-conspirator, indicted co-conspirator after another, this is just going to be a cesspool, a petri dish of criminality. As I said at the top of the hot take, I don't think you can, the convention center may not be big enough to hold all these people. Let's just go through some of the list of people. About a dozen fake electors are being sent by their party delegations in the GOP, the Republican Party, to serve as real presidential electors for Donald Trump this time, or just be good old-fashioned convention delegates at the RNC, including people who have been indicted from Arizona, Michigan, and Nevada. You got that group there. You got, I'm sure, a handful, they've all been released, of co-conspirators in the Georgia case who are going to go for their continued 15 minutes of fame or otherwise. I could think of a number of them that would try to go. Then you've got that subgroup of people who are the unindicted co-conspirators listed by number in the indictment in the D.C. election interference case. Boris Epshteyn, Rudy Giuliani, Mark Meadows, and others, right? You could see them descending. We already know that some of the people that were involved in the organization of the actual Jan 6th event, including on the ellipse, those organizers are all going. Cleta Mitchell, sort of a behind-the-scenes, smoke-filled room lawyer operator for Donald Trump, who helped organize the 70 failing lawsuits that tried to have Donald Trump cling to power. Rudy Giuliani, fresh off a bankruptcy loss, where he had his bankruptcy dismissed. So now he's going to have to start paying up on the $150 million that he owes in defamation damages and punitive damages to Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss. They're going to go. He's going to go. What about Mike Flynn? What about, if you're doing like a table of sort of like the hierarchy, like a food table of who's going to be there. First line is going to be the fake electors. Then it's going to be all of the election and election officials on the Republican side that help him cling to power. They're all going to be there during a live criminal investigation about many of these issues. Some of these people have been indicted. Then you got the co-conspirators in Georgia, including ones that were fake electors and fake electors that are cooperating with Fani Willis's investigation. Got that group. Then you got the lawyers, including ones that have been disbarred. Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell, Ken Chesborough, Mike Roman, who I'm sure is going to be at the RNC. This is their coming out party. This is their old home week. And they're going to come back to it. And the issue here on this hot take, as examined by some other reporting, is how does Donald Trump not violate the conditions of his release? He's going to get into a conversation with Walt Nauta, his co-conspirator in Mar-a-Lago. He's going to rub elbows with some of, like Boris Epshtein's definitely there. Boris Epshtein's on his current payroll. How about when people want to poke their heads out and see how it's going, who have been indicted or singed or almost indicted or unindicted co-conspirators, all in one room? Lumen is the world's first handheld metabolic coach. It's a device that measures your metabolism through your breath. And on the app, it lets you know if you're burning fat or carbs and gives you tailored advice to improve your nutrition, workouts, sleep, and even stress management. All you have to do is breathe into your Lumen first thing in the morning, and you'll know what's going on with your metabolism, whether you're burning mostly fats or carbs. Then, Lumen gives you a personalized nutrition plan for that day based on your measurements. You can also breathe into it before and after workouts and meals, so you know exactly what's going on in your body in real time. And Lumen will give you tips to keep you on top of your health game, because your metabolism is at the center of everything your body does. Optimal metabolic health translates to a bunch of benefits, including easier weight management, improved energy levels, better fitness results, better sleep, etc. It can also track your cycle and adjust your recommendations to keep your metabolism healthy through hormonal shifts, so you can keep up your energy and stave off cravings. So if you want to take the next step in improving your health, go to lumen.me/legalaf to get 15% off your Lumen. That's lumen.me/legalaf for 15% off your purchase. Thank you, Lumen, for sponsoring this episode. So there's a group of people that won't include Steve Bannon, since Steve Bannon has already reported to serve his sentence. Wasn't that a quiet reporting, by the way? July 1, he went in already. But Bannon won't be there. Mike Flynn's out. Yeah, he was pardoned. You know, he can go, and all the others. So what we need to watch is, and more importantly, what the prosecutors and the FBI have to keep an eye on, and the Georgia investigators have to keep an eye on, is will Donald Trump violate the conditions of his release? And then the judges have to do something about it if he did. If he violates the gag order, and there's still gag orders going on, there's limited ones up in New York. The DC election interference case with Judge Chutkan still has a gag order in place while he's up on the stage. It hasn't been revised in any way. In fact, Donald Trump's lawyers didn't even try to go back to Judge Chutkan and revise it. They're going to go in early August for a major hearing about what to do next in that case. But he has an obligation not to witness tamper by making public comments about potential witness testimony. How is he going to avoid that? Now, look, a lot of the RNC and conventions as a whole on both sides of the aisle are scripted. Usually Trump's not there for the whole thing. Normal candidates come in the last minute on the last day when they accept the nomination and give their speech, although they're in town. And that's the problem, whether it's in the convention hall or it's in the hotel or a boardroom or a fundraiser on the eve of it. He's rubbing elbows with people that are already in the soup with him as co-conspirators, indicted or unindicted, or witnesses, grand jury or petit jury or trial judge or trial jury. And we have to be vigilant. And it's almost like if you see something, say something at the prosecutor level. And that's what they're going to have to do. Nobody wants to give, and nobody thinks it's appropriate on thinking people that Donald Trump should be given a pass. He has a gag order. He's got conditions of his release, and he needs to abide by them. And it's going to be up to the vigilance of the prosecutors and the judges. After getting transcripts and testimony and hearings, somebody's going to rat out Donald Trump if he violates one of these conditions about witnesses, co-conspirator meetings, and otherwise. And if he's going to meet with some of these co-conspirators, he better have a lawyer, not on retainer, standing next to him during those conversations. And the fake electors, that's the party that wants to reward its fake electors who are this close to being criminally prosecuted or have been criminally prosecuted. That just tells you everything you need to know about that party and its morals and its values. Look, we do this type of analysis in one place. We do it on the MeidasTouch network, on Legal AF, the podcast at the intersection of law and politics. I co-founded 4 years ago. Now you know why we call it Legal AF. It's every Wednesday and Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern time, and then on major podcast platforms of your choice. I do hot takes like this about every hour at the intersection of law and politics right here on the MeidasTouch Network, and an independent, exclusive organization. No outside investors, and we're not censored. Anybody that takes this microphone speaks their mind, uncensored, unfiltered, sometimes a little bit unplugged, but we do it for a certain cause and to join our audience in their shock and dismay, but their enthusiasm to make things go right into the future. We'll continue to follow it here on the MeidasTouch Network, Legal AF, Wednesday, Saturdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, audio podcast platforms of your choice. Give me a thumbs up, leave a comment. It helps. It's not ego, it's algorithm. We need the votes in order to keep the network running. So until my next hot take and until my next Legal AF, this is Michael Popok reporting. Heary, heary, Legal AF Law Breakdown is now in session. Go beyond the headlines and get a deep dive into the important legal concepts you need to know, and we discuss every day on Legal AF. Exclusive content you won't find anywhere else, all for the price of a couple of cups of coffee. Join us at patreon.com/legalaf. That's patreon.com/legalaf.